Hi, welcome to Get a Clue Casual Gamer, where we get a clue, C-L-U-E, about a game. Today we're going to go back a little bit. Actually, I just realized I did not pull it up on my phone here, so let me pull up this. There we go. Okay, it came out in 2021. So it came out last year. I was thinking it was older, but okay, even better. It is called Floriferous. It is a small box game. It's a card game, basically. Has a couple other components in there, but it's a beautiful game. It's a very it's simple without being too easy. There's a puzzliness to it. It's one of my favorite games because I like slightly puzzly games, and this fits the bill. It can be played from 1 to 4 players, and let me see. Yeah, the complexity is a medium light. It's not a light and it's not a light medium. It's a medium light. Okay, so here we go. Let's get a clue, and I'm not editing any of this, so when I kind of stammer, it's a late night and I've been at work all day. We're going to get a clue, C-L-U-E, C being components. What are you going to find when you open this box? We're going to find a few things in here. So we'll start off with the obvious rule book. Cute little rule book. And then inside, besides that, you'll also get a little ad for Pencil First, which is the company that gives us Floriferous, and it has some of their other games in here. Then we will have what are called garden cards. There's 60 of them. And amongst them, you will find 5 different kinds of flowers. You'll have daisies and mums, lilies, poppies, and tulips. And they will come in, each one of them will come in 5 different colors. So you'll have yellow flowers and purple flowers. You'll have white flowers and pink flowers and orange flowers. And even if you are colorblind in any way, shape, or form, each color actually has a different shape. So you can tell from the diamond to the square to a pentagon to a hexagon to a circle. So each color will have its own little shape. So you don't actually have to be able to differentiate the colors as long as you can differentiate the shapes. And the name of the flower is always on it, so there's no question as to what flower it is if you don't know your flowers. There are also some what they call, let me see, what is it they call these lovely sculpture cards. We have little sculpture cards and floral arrangement cards. And these are all the different kinds of cards that are in this stack of 60 garden cards. Then we have, I did not take them out of the little package, but it's 10 crow cards. And they are used for the solo game. When you're doing the solo game, you're going to use these 10 crow cards. There are also these little, there's 21 of them, desire cards. And each one of them has a different desire. For instance, if you have this one and choose this one, for every pink, I think square is pink, square is pink. For every pink card that you have at the end, a flower that you have at the end of the game, you get 2 points for. For every purple one, you get 2 points. Maybe instead of a color, you're going for a mum, or daisy. That's a daisy. For every daisy, you get 2 points. And so there's all different kinds of desires. What is it that you would like? And when you choose these, you get those extra points. Then there are 9 bounty cards. Usually, I believe we use 3 in each game, if I remember correctly. So there's going to be a mix and match of these. They're going to change from game to game. Replayability. And basically, the bounty cards are, if you're the first person to be able to complete this at the end of a day, and the game is for 4 days, 4 rounds. But at the end of the first round, if you're able to comply with 2 tulips and a daisy, you get 5 points. If it takes you until the second round, you get 3 points. If it takes you the third round, you get 2 points. And if you don't make it until the very end, you don't get any points. So you're trying, but like these are all different. Some are flowers, some have bugs, because some of these cards have bugs on them too. So you have different ones that you'll be trying to get the bounty by having the right combination of flowers or bugs. Then, of course, there are 4 players, so up to 4 players. So there's 4 different color, and they're different shapes. Again, if you're colorblind, all you have to be able to differentiate are the different shapes of the pieces, of the player pieces. And then there are a bag of, how many? 24 little cardboard stones, okay? And they're worth points at the end of the game, and they're also useful for changing a couple things up during the game, but you want to have some of them for points at the end as well. And one of the things I always love, player aid cards. There's player aid card for every player. I love this. On one side, on the other side, it's like everything you need to know while you're playing the game, you have on this card. And then there's this one card that the person who has the most stones at the end of the game earns an extra 2 points. So again, you want to have at least some of these to try and be the one with the most of them, so you can get an extra 2 points from that. And then there's these, and when we get to uniqueness, these I'm going to make a little comment about these, but there's 3 of each color, so each player will have their own 3, and when it comes to colors, they each have, again, a different type of flower on them, so you can tell which is which. Yellows are like this, blues are like this one, pinks are like that one, and greens are like that one. So they're all a little bit different. So if you have someone who is colorblind, even a game all about beautiful flowers is playable. Okay, so those are the components. That's it. That's what's inside this box. That's quite a bit to fit into a little box like this, but it does. Next is length. How long does this game take to play? Well, you do play 4 rounds, but it's not a long game. Now, the manufacturer says about 20 minutes. I personally think it would probably be closer to 30 by the time you've played it all and scored it at the end of each round and at the end of the game. So I'm going to say around 30 minutes, even though the manufacturer says 20, just to be on the safe side. It's not a long game. It's just maybe not quite that short of a game. Okay? Now, of course, once you know it and once everybody who's playing it knows it, then you could probably get it down to 20 minutes. But why rush? You know, I like to have fun and conversation while I'm playing as well. Okay, so that's length. Uniqueness. This is actually these, not necessarily this, but these remind me of an element in the game King Domino. If you've ever played King Domino, you know that when you choose the next domino that you're going to receive in the next round, wherever you place it, there's going to be an order from top to bottom for the next choice. If you don't know King Domino, none of this is making sense to you, and that's fine. It's a simple concept. But if you've ever played King Domino, that's how this is played. When you choose, which card, which flower or desire card you want from a column, you're going to be placing your pawn in that spot when you take that card away. And then when everyone has done that, then you start at the top, and whoever's at the top, because that was the least value at the last time. Yeah, it's the order of, I'm not explaining it very well. It's the order of choice for the next column of flowers or desire cards. Just saying that. But it does, that little bit reminded me very much of the turn sequence in King Domino. But if you taking that completely out of the explanation of uniqueness, it is a what I call a puzzly game, where you're trying to pick the best combination to create the most points. And though it's a very, very different concept, if all you've ever played are mass market, and that's what I'm trying to think of right now, in Yahtzee, when you roll those dice, and then you have to choose which ones you keep and which ones you're going to try rolling again, because you're trying to decide which combination will bring you the most points. Should you go for 4 of a kind, or should you you have 3, should you try for 4 or 5, or a Yahtzee 5 of a kind, or try for a full house, or try and get 4 5s when you only have 2, and you're going to have to it's like all those little decisions as to how am I going to create the opportunity for the best score. That's kind of the same mentality, very different game, but it uses that same type of mentality. If you like that part of Yahtzee, maybe you don't like the math part or the numbers. This is flowers and bugs. Flowers and bugs get you points here, and stones. So it's a very different game, but it's kind of like that kind of thought process. How do I make this the most points possible without being a hard game? There are some games in the hobby gaming world that use that concept as well, but are much, much more difficult, much more crunchy, as brain crunch. This is a lighter game. It's a casual game. It's a beautiful game, but it does use that light puzzliness. So uniqueness, it's similar in style like that, and puzzling things out. Excuse me. How easy is it to learn, teach, play? How easy is it on your easy to find, and how easy is it on your pocketbook? Okay, let's start with learn, teach, play. It's not a complicated game. I love how the back of this has a quick picture of the setup, depending on how many players, if it's a 2-player, a 3-player. This is a 2-player extended setup if you want to do that one, but this is a 4-player setup. So it gives you all of that right at the back, so you don't have to be thumbing through all the pages, because there are, at the beginning of the game, you know how to play it. It's like, okay, how many do we've got? Have 3 players? Okay, this is the setup. There you go. I like that. I also like the fact that there are the player cards that help you throughout the game to remember what are the possibilities. Okay. The rule book looks extensive, but it's because it wants to give you a lot of details, but you don't need to know all of these details to be able to play the game. It gives you the objective. Here's the setup that you can find on the back anyway, but here's the setup, and then the gameplay is basically here. This talks about the different cards and elements, those components. Here's playing the game, taking turns at the end of a day, and then how to add it up, and then at the end of the game. And then you have an example of day 1, day 2, day 3, and then the final sample, the final scoring. So if you have any questions about it, it's in the book. It's kind of like that big book that comes with your car, and you have it in the glove compartment, and you rarely look at it unless something lights up or something isn't working, and you're like, what is the tire pressure that my tire is supposed to have in this car? Let me pull out the owner's manual. Yeah, this is kind of like that. It gives you the directions for the basic game, and that's enough to get started and play the game and have fun with it. But if you have any questions, they give examples of scoring. They give examples of all sorts of different things. Again, a scoring guide. They talk about each of the desire cards, which are these little cards. They explain everything about every single one. And then the solo mode, how to play it solo, and the solo setup. And last page, I think, or maybe almost, playing the solo game and scoring the solo game. And then they talk about the different flowers, and that's it. So it's not a hard game to learn, teach, play. It really isn't. It might take you 15 minutes to really learn it. Run through it, do a solo game on your own. If you're going to be teaching somebody else, you want to do a solo game so that you have an idea of how it goes, and then with them do a multiplayer version, and it should go pretty quickly, pretty easily. How easy is it to find, and how easy is it on your pocketbook? Here we come up with that difficulty in that it came out last year, and it was very popular because it's beautiful and it's easy to get to the table, which is the terminology that we use in hobby gaming. It's easy to bring to the table, get to the table, because we can get other people to play it. People who aren't necessarily hobby gamers, people who don't play games a lot. This is something that we can get. Floriferous is something that you bring it out, and first of all, it's a small box, it's not intimidating, and secondly, it's beautiful, and thirdly, it's cards for the most part, and fourthly, in my book, it's different enough that it catches their attention. Okay? Even when it's set up on the table, it catches the attention of people because of the bright colors and the flowers and all of those little things. So it kind of sold well. It really did sell well. And I found that my go-to places, GameNerds.com and MiniatureMarket.com, are both sold out. They're out of stock right now. And of course, let's see, but I will tell you what their price is when it is in stock. On Miniature Market, by the way, the retail is $25. Retail is $25. Miniature Market has it priced at $18. Again, they are out of stock. And Game Nerds has it priced at $17.47, so basically $17.50. And they are also out of stock. You can set notification when they restock, so they'll send you a notification letting you know. But the other place online that I'll usually check is Amazon, and they currently have it for $21.98, so basically $22. So that's where you could get it now if you didn't want to wait for a restocking. But it is a beautiful game. It is really, it's not old maid simple, but it's really in someplace between Uno and Phase 10 in complexity. It's really not a hard game at all, but it is beautiful. It is, and it is puzzly, light puzzle. I like a light puzzly game. And so that is it. We got a clue about Floriferous, a new game, maybe, for you. Until next time, happy gaming, and God bless you and your family. Subscribe, like, comment, tell me what game would you like me to talk about next. See you later. Bye.